The RP Show is brought to you in part by Cool Bet. Claim your welcome bet bonus today up to $200, but only with the promo code RP200. You can claim it at coolbet.com. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Coach Barker checking in from Sin City, I believe. How does the day find you?
I'm actually in Toronto. I
Oh,
was I was in Las Vegas last weekend, and then I came back. There's a lot of work to do here, so we did our Christmas early. Holly obviously is working through Christmas anyway, and Kate, my older daughter, had a big play. So last weekend it closed. It was great. I got to see all that, and now here I am back in Toronto, plugging away.
oh, good. Well, I'm glad that your travel all went safely and you had the family time and all the rest. Coach, I'm going to start with this, and then you can go wherever you want. But I just want to say college football playoff kicking off this weekend, 4 games. Do you see an upset in there or more than one?
Uh, well, again, Texas A&M Miami, I think, is a difficult game. I don't even know who the favorites are, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not a gambler, so, and even though I had a place in Las Vegas, that wasn't my thing. But I'm not sure who's favored in the Alabama Oklahoma game, which I think is
Sooners.
really maybe the most intriguing. Okay, I like the underdog. I like Alabama. Going into Oklahoma, you say might be tough, but they went into Georgia and I mean did I mean I thought they played outstanding, maybe their best game there. Uh, it comes down to Ty Simpson, and yeah, Oklahoma's defense is great, but Oklahoma's offense has been ever since Mateer came back from that thumb injury, he hasn't been the same. So I'm going to pick Alabama just because of big plays are going to win this game, and Ryan Williams has yet to play the way that Ryan Williams can, and I just believe that they're going to end up beating Oklahoma in Oklahoma. So that to me is the best game. Texas A&M and Miami is an interesting one. Who's favored in that? Would that be?
Home team, all the home teams.
Oh, home
Texas
team.
A&M
So
is.
Texas
Yeah,
A&M's favored. Yeah,
yeah.
and again, it's Texas A&M plays great defense. There's no question about it. Miami, they're just so up and down. I just have a feeling everybody's picking Miami in this game, and I just have a feeling that Texas A&M is going to play at a different level, and Miami's going to have trouble stopping their run. There's two great Canadian players on the Miami team, so that's an exciting game for those of us that are looking for Canadian players. Messidor, a defensive end who will probably be a top 3 round NFL guy, and then the center from Miami is a sophomore Canadian who will be in our draft in 2 years. So I enjoy watching Miami. I just think Texas A&M overall is a much better defensive team and will win that. I saw you pick Tulane over Ole Miss, as I know Rod Pedersen would, for all the wrong reasons, and that's
Yeah.
okay. That's
Wait till
what
I'm right.
makes you, and you could very well could be. You very well could be. I'm going to pick Ole Miss just because of I just think they have better players. They lost Kiffin, but those offensive coaches are coaching in this game, and the defense will be the same. I think they're a better team. I think it's tougher for those teams like Tulane that didn't have the preparation in terms of teams they played and beat for this kind of game. That's the same thing with James Madison. That game is. I mean, how is that team going to go in there and play with Oregon? I mean, maybe they win, and it's like Jim Barker just doesn't know anything. So, I mean, that could happen. There's no doubt.
Well, I,
But
I psyched
that's the
myself
one to
out.
me
I
that
psyched
should be
myself
the
out on
most.
this. Yeah, those Rebels players are going to want to shove it where the sun don't shine on Lane Kiffin. That's not too late for me to change my pick. Oh, sorry. And by the way, Greg in Calgary writes, well, I'm just saying, great rallying cry for the Ole Miss players. Screw Lane
Yeah.
Kiffin.
Oh,
We're
it
going to go
is.
kick their ass. Yeah. Greg
Absolutely.
in Calgary writes that he says, hey, Rod, I'll take Oklahoma, Miami, Ole Miss, and Oregon. So, yeah, they're into it. Even in Canada. We were talking earlier about the Seahawks, the huge comeback victory last night for them.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Go ahead. Your thoughts on the Thursday nighter?
Well, every quarterback, high school quarterback coach, college quarterback coach, even youth quarterback coaches cringed when they watched Matt Stafford look that way and on the goal line throw it that way, and they're saying, "Oh no, my guy is going to try to do that." He's playing like Patrick Mahomes, and we talked about it on your show a couple weeks ago that he's an older version of Patrick Mahomes. It's like I've never seen him play the way he's playing. They lost that game, but I like the Ram team, boy. I like the way they're together. And I don't know if you watched Matthew Stafford after the game, but
No.
I just wanted to hear what he had to say. And his confidence, and, he said, well, if they get another play off the helmet for 2 points and, then we'll be worried. But we're not worried, about Seattle. Well, Seattle's a good football team. They've got a great defense. And Sam Darnold, that game will go miles getting ready for the playoffs. That game is huge for them. For them to win that game and for Sam to do it, because if you remember last year in the playoffs against Minnesota, when he was playing for Minnesota, he wasn't very good. And they
No.
got beat badly. And I know that there's been a lot of talk about that. So that game should help him a lot. Seattle still plays Carolina, and then the last game of the season is Seattle and San Francisco that could decide where everybody's going to end up going. So the Ram team, you put Devontae Adams back on the field, they're not 3 of 6, kicking 3 field goals. They're not doing that down by the goal line. They were down there 6 times and only scored 3 times. And that's what Devontae Adams does. I think they lose a huge part of their offense when he's out, and they still had almost 600 yards of offense. I mean, that team is an unbelievable football team right now against a Seattle defense that is beating everybody. I think Seattle, Mike McDonald's done a great job there. I love the way they play the game. I love the Seattle crowd. Of all the crowds I like to watch, I like Seattle the best. I think it's a tough place to play. And what a great football game that was. And again, watching Matt Stafford. And I'll tell you something about Sam Darnold. It was like that first half was so bad, and he was awful. And it would be very easy for him to say, boy, here we go again. But he didn't. He came out the second half, and he played stride for stride with Stafford, who I think should be the MVP of the league this year. So it was a classic way to start this weekend. I think the Bears-Packers, even though the Bears have lost to Dunze and is going to be out this game, a couple of their receivers, they've got some issues injury-wise, and the Packers aren't going to have Josh Jacobs. I mean, that game's going to be at Soldier Field. It's going to be almost as good as the Seattle and the Rams, because in Soldier Field, those Chicago fans are hungry. And this is the game that can put them over the top and say, okay, we are a legitimate team to beat in this thing. So that game's exciting, that's going to be on Saturday night up against Oregon and James Madison, I think. So I think that,
Yep.
that Oregon James Madison game's not going to be watched by that many if the Packers
No. Well, it's funny. A year ago, you and I were doing this. And if you remember, college football went up against the NFL on the Sunday. And you said, we'll know by the ratings we'll know next year if they do it again, who won this ratings battle. I think we found out. They're not playing on Sunday. The NFL crushed them in the ratings last year.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen in this, because the Bear-Packer game is an intriguing game, because the Packers are probably as close to the Cowboys as being America's team. The Packers and the Bears, I mean, the Bears fans everywhere in the Midwest. So that game is going to be very, very intriguing to NFL fans. And Oregon James Madison will hold your interest maybe, again, maybe James Madison's going to play great. I just can't see them playing the schedule they played and then going into Autzen Stadium where, again, they've lost a game. They lost a game. They lost to Indiana. Oregon did. So, but Indiana came back to show they're the best team in the country right now. So I think they're going to be up tough against the Packers and the Bears, because that's another great game. I just think that's a must watch TV if you're a football fan. That game, the Bears and Packers, it'll be as good as that game was last night. And it's hard. It's hard to be as good as that game was last night, because that was, anybody who didn't like that game, it can't be a football fan. I mean, it had everything, and just the way that Matthew Stafford is throwing the football, and Sam Darnold for that matter. Sam made some bad plays, no doubt about it, but he came back and he made that throw he made to Barner for the go ahead touchdown, throwing back across the field, and was just that's just a big time play by any quarterback. So again, great quarterbacks make great football, and it's that way in every league. In our league, it's the same way. When our quarterbacks are healthy, and then they're, our league is great, and that's the key to the whole thing. You can keep your quarterbacks healthy.
902-518-3033 is the text line if you have questions or comments for Jim Barker. Before I switch this around to the CFL, you were just in Vegas. I don't know if you heard much talk about the Raiders. I know you were around doing family time, but what I'm saying, maybe you saw it earlier, is if your team is out of it, like the Raiders, Dolphins, Cowboys are about to be, but for the Raiders themselves, what are they going to do? Because you got a quarterback and a coach on the on the 18th green of their career. You can't bring them back, I don't think. What are you doing if you're the Las Vegas Raiders?
Unfortunately, I'm hearing that they're going to blow it up again, and they're going to, restart, and who's going to be the coach, who's going to direct it, I have no idea, but the word I'm hearing around town from those in the cigar bar are that it's going to be blown up again, and that Pete Carroll was not the answer, and that where they're going to go with that him, I don't know. It's sad. I mean, they fired Chip Kelly, and I don't think they've scored a point since. I mean, they're just an awful football team right now for a lot of reasons. So again, I think when you look at the teams that are competing, that's why it's great to watch Jacksonville competing and Shad Khan, having a team do that. Because you look at teams like the Raiders, and you look at teams like Arizona, and some of those teams with Mr. Bidwell in Arizona and Mark Davis in Las Vegas. There comes a point where you say there's a problem with the organization, because they're just not making a run, and both teams are at the bottom of their divisions, and so much, and we talk about it a lot on this show. It's organization top down that creates winning environments. And you look at Philadelphia, and they're solid because they're strong at the top. Jeffrey Lurie has brought in, Howie Roseman, and they've maintained consistency. With the Steelers, they haven't won it, but they're in the playoffs, and they're consistent every year. So ownership is a big thing, and I think that Vegas is in blow up mode again, and it's just hard to look forward when you have a team that plays so poorly in the first year of a 4-year-old coach. I'm not sure what Pete is, but I believe he's in his middle 70s. So I think that's a situation, but you have to look around and say, okay, who's going to be that coach? And the big rumor, who everybody wants, is John Gruden. Who will win that battle? Roger Goodell, or if
Gruden wins
it's sad to think about.
If Gruden wins it, it'll be the first time ever that the commissioner doesn't win a pissing match against anybody.
You're probably right.
Right,
Probably
exactly.
Right.
By the way, Rob in Las Vegas is watching. He says, last night's game reminded me of a CFL finish. Ted in Red Deer writes in, he says, the Seahawks are a super resilient team, never out of it. I guess we should wind this up on the CFL. Life's changed a bit for you now. You're back on the front lines, which is where you belong. We joke about being a media guy, of course, but you're back on the front lines with the Argos. How's life changed the last couple of weeks for you?
Well, it's very, very busy because I have been preparing for the last 4 months. I go through and I know everybody who's trying out for NFL teams, and now I'm able to watch film of those players. That's what I've been doing since 5:30, 6 o'clock this morning. I'm taking each position group, watching film of players that are available out there, trying to find all the players that are on our negotiation list, and watching film on them. Do I want to keep them? Do I want to take them off? And that type of thing. So it's a lot of catching up. And then I've got some young guys that I'm bringing in that we're going to be going out to the All-Star games in Florida in January. Now, some of those are in big danger. Hula Bowl may fold for the first time. And I mean, I remember the Hula Bowl when I was a kid when it was in Hawaii. Now it's in Florida. I got word today that there's potential they may not be playing. So, but trying to get all that organized with the young guys, I'm trying to teach them how you scout a camp. How do you scout when you go to watch an all-star game? What do you do during practice? What do you want to get out of it at the end, and things along those lines. So it's a lot of teaching them. My goal is that, in 4 years, that when I'm ready to step away and just do your show, that'll be my life. That that they'll have the best front office in the CFL. So pinball's been great and very supportive, and John Huffnagel is I've talked to him a few times on the phone about different players and things. So the whole functionality has been beautiful, and we'll see. You don't know until we go to training camp in May and start playing games. That's when you find out whether what you're doing now pays off. But it's a lot of work. I mean, to do it right, it's a lot of work and a lot of grinding, and that's what I've done my whole life, and I've missed that.
Good.
I've missed. The only thing I had to look forward to was 1:20 Eastern every
Every week.
Friday when I got to be on your show and air all my bitches. It was, that's been the fantastic part, and I'm just excited we get to keep doing it for whenever we can.
Grateful to you, grateful to the Argos for making that available for as much as we can do it, because we love it. The viewers love it. And I know for a fact, because people tell me they're blowing up your phone right after you're on, because they tell me they're calling you and they're texting you and all the rest. So that's really fantastic.
Yesterday, yes, I have to tell the fans that are watching this show. Yesterday, I texted you. I'm so engulfed in this stuff. I was watching film, and I looked at my watch, and it was 2 o'clock. And I go, I missed Rod's show. I thought it was Friday. So I called, I sent you an apology, and I'm sorry. I just, time got away from, and you said, well, it's not till tomorrow, Jim. So
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what my life is like right now.
I took that as a good thing, though. I'm like, you're a day ahead. It's all good. Yeah, which I think is what I said. I said you're good, and you are good. Well, Jim, Merry Christmas. I'm not sure about next week. I go one day at a time, as you know, but glad to have you today. It's awesome. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the ball.
All right. Thanks, Rod. Talk to you guys later.
You betcha. Jim Barker of the Toronto Argonauts joining us on a Football Friday. We'll be back with a sports update and your comments the rest of the way. You're watching Across Nevada on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network and right here on Game Plus TV.